Do you feel like you're not enough? We're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a therapist. I make videos for people with anxiety or OCD. And today I want to talk to you about not feeling like enough. Is that you? A lot of people in general don't feel like they're enough. I think that's just part of being human, is that you have some insecurities or some areas where you feel like you're not good enough. But I'm talking to those of you who feel like you're not enough in a lot of areas and how it impacts your mental health. Because when we believe we're not enough, it can cause social anxiety. Actually, I think that's the core fear of social anxiety, is the belief that you're not enough. It can cause depression and hopelessness and all sorts of things. And for me, in my journey with social anxiety, I felt like I was not enough. And so I looked for other people to tell me I was enough. Do you do this? Right? So if people say, "Oh, Natasha, we love you so much. Oh, I feel so good. I'm enough." And then if someone says, or I perceive that someone's like, "Yeah, you're not my flavor, Natasha. Oh, I'm not enough." If every single person doesn't like me, then I've done something wrong. If I perceive that I'm boring to you or not interesting, I've done something wrong. If I stumble on a word or someone corrects me, I feel like I'm not smart enough. So what are the enoughs for you? Because what I have found in my own journey and in my journey being a therapist is that it looks really different for each person. But the not enough part of it is the groundwork, especially with social anxiety. So where do you feel like you're not enough? Because it's not in every area. For me, I feel great as a therapist. I don't have a not enough situation with being a therapist. When I'm wearing that role and that cap, I feel good. What things do you feel good at? What roles and talents and skills or situations do you feel enough in? Maybe you feel enough around your family. Maybe you don't. Maybe you feel enough when you do sports. Maybe you don't, right? For me, I don't feel enough, or I worry about not being enough when it comes to how I look. And this goes from when I'm a little kid. Am I smart enough? Am I likable enough? Am I cool enough? Am I hip enough? My kids would say no. But those are my core fears. Those are the areas of not enoughness. It has to do with how I look. It has to do with how smart I am. And it has to do how likable I am. What is it for you? Right? Because sometimes we think about it in a big way, like I'm just not enough. But it's something smaller. There are some people who feel really good about how they look, but they feel like they're not enough academically. Or there's some people who feel really horrible about how they look, but they feel really good academically. So ask yourself, where do I feel like I'm not enough? And then we focus on that. And so, is it okay if I stumble on a word? Is it okay if you perceive me as not smart enough? And how can I boost myself and say, I am smart enough for me, or I am good enough looking for me? And I know that's a really hard shift when you've been feeding yourself lies this whole time that you're not enough. Why are you not enough? And I've asked myself this too. I wrote a whole memoir on it that just came out called Out of My Shell. And the whole memoir, I'm doing therapy sessions with my younger selves, with my 7-year-old self, my 12-year-old self, my 18-year-old self, my 30-year-old self, and onward. And I'm trying to talk to my younger selves about how they have social anxiety, because when you have social anxiety, often you don't think you have social anxiety. You actually think that you are just not likable, or that you're not enough, or that you are failing in certain areas, or that people just naturally reject you. I know for me, I always thought, I'm just not the popular kid. I'm just, whatever it is, I repel people. People do not gravitate towards me. That's not true. A lot of it was I was giving off a vibe of don't talk to me because I felt like I'm not enough. Don't come over here and prove to me that I'm not enough, right? And so it became almost like this thing that I created. And we do that when we don't feel like we're enough. We actually sabotage ourselves. And so ask yourself, why do I not feel like I'm enough? And who am I trying to get approval from? Am I getting approval from other kids, adults, my parents, my coworkers, other students, the world, strangers? Where do you feel the most uncomfortable? Because where you feel the most uncomfortable is actually probably the place you feel the least enough of. Does that make sense, right? For me, I feel really uncomfortable at a party. I'd rather die than go to a party, especially by myself, because to me, it would be proof to other people that I'm a loser. And so I don't want to prove that. And if I did go to a party, that most likely would happen. Not that people would think I'm a loser per se, but I would go there. I'd feel really awkward. I'd try to get out my phone. I'd look busy. I'd feel like, how long is this going to happen? I wouldn't know how to start conversations. And then I'd be like, oh my gosh, I just wasn't cool enough to go there. That's not true. It was my anxiety that was creating that. Do I want to go to parties? No, actually, I really still don't. But could I if I needed to? Probably. I've been working on it. But where do you feel the most uncomfortable? Do you feel the most uncomfortable when you're in class or at work or performing or giving a speech or in the, I already said classroom, at home when you're in a group of friends with, or you have to go to another group where you don't know people? Ask yourself that, because that's a flashlight of where you don't feel like you're enough. And then go inward and say, can I accept all of me? Because you are already enough. You don't have to become enough. And when you give your power away and you ask other people, you're not literally asking them, but when you are looking for the proof that they accept you, then you're giving your power away. Because guess what? This is what I had to learn. Some people won't like you. Some people won't think that you're enough. Some people will not respond to you well. Some people will judge you and criticize you. But when you have social anxiety, you think that's 99% of the world. And you forget the 1%. And in reality, it's not 99% of the world that thinks that you're not enough. But there will be a sprinkle of people who will judge and criticize you. But there's a huge lump of people who will love and accept you for the way that you are. But you don't need those people. It's nice, but you need to give it to yourself. Can I accept myself? Can I accept all of who I am? What parts of me can I start loving? Can I be confident that I can handle rejection? That's the work. I tried to give you a roadmap of how to do this and how I did it throughout my life, starting from childhood all the way up until current in my memoir, Out of My Shell. And so my hope is not only is it maybe hopefully an interesting and engaging read, and if it's not, that's not a me problem. I like it. I think it's good. But my other hope is that it will normalize these feelings. It will validate what you're going through, and it will actually also teach you in a passive way as you're enjoying reading the book. You're going to see how to build a framework to crush your own issues with not feeling like enough. You can get the book on Amazon or wherever books are sold, but you can also just go to socialanxietyreality.com, and that is the website for the book. It will link to Amazon. Also, I do have an Instagram account that I created for this book. If you like the topic of social anxiety or feeling, you don't even have to have social anxiety, but feeling like you're rejected or feeling, like you're not enough, you can check out my Instagram account. It's a separate one because I have an Instagram account for anxiety and OCD for parents at AT Parenting Survival, but my social anxiety one is at Social Anxiety Reality. Check that out. Follow me, get the memoir, and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it. Come back to this video and leave me a comment and tell me what your experience was with the book. Take care.